Could this be the best value Rolex in the market today? Well, let's find out. Welcome back to the channel, all you watch heroes and nerds. And today, well, we're going to kill two birds with one stone. Firstly, I haven't reviewed a vintage watch on this channel in a while, and I've never had a Rolex on the channel too. So I think it's a two birds with one stone situation, don't you think? Now, before we begin, I'd like to say a huge thank you to TikTok watchers on eBay for helping me with this purchase. Now, I've managed to get my hands on a Rolex Oysterdate Precision 6694 dated back to 1970. And this type of watch goes between 1500 to £3,000 online, depending on condition, and I think it may be the best value Rolex that you can buy today. You just need to be a fan of vintage watches. Now, if this watch floats your boat, I will leave affiliate links via eBay and similar listings on here. Firstly, you will struggle to find this exact dial configuration, but there are so many different designs that I'm sure you'll find something that you'll like. So take a step back with me, open up the fine scotch, dust off the leather chair and light a pipe, and take a seat, because this is going to be a sophisticated one. Or if you want, just pop the kettle on, have a biscuit and get on a comfy sofa. Okay, let's have a look. So let's kick off with specs. Now, I'm going to keep it rather simple here, because if you are into this watch like I am, then specs aren't going to be the thing that really interests you with this watch. First of all, we have a 35mm in diameter and 37mm with the crown. Rolex state that this watch is actually 34mm, but I'm not the only one that's had the calipers out and has found this to be wrong. And it certainly doesn't wear like a 34, more like a 36mm in my opinion. Next, we have the lug to lug of 41mm, and the lug width is 19mm with a thickness of 11mm. The bracelet is, well, it's jangly crap. It has folded links and press clasps, and it's just nothing special here at all. So I'm going to be wearing it on the, I'm not going to be wearing it, on the original bracelet. Instead, it's going to go into a safe, and I'm going to be wearing some aftermarket numbers that you will see throughout this video. I will also leave links to where I found these ones below as well. The other things to mention on here is the watch has a famous oyster style water resistant case. I'm not going to test the waterproofness of this watch until I get it serviced though, and an acrylic crystal with date magnifier. Finally, the movement is the Rolex Caliber 1225. It is a manual wind only watch with 17 jewels. It beats at 21,600 beats per hour, and I'm unsure of the power reserve here, but I think it's around 38 to 40 hours. Also, this movement is not COSC certified, and it is a non-quicksat date. It is a non-quickset date. Right, so have you got the specs sorted? Okay, right, let's forget all of that, because this next bit is what really matters. First of all, I have to say that this actually wears better than the proportions on this watch would suggest. So my wrist is a 7¼ inches, and it does feel more like a 36 when it is on wrist, and it is an absolute beauty. Okay, let's move on to the dial. So I bought this watch because of the dial. Now on this line, you can see what feels like hundreds of different dial colors and dates and non-date versions. For me, I went with this one because it's not silver or white, it's linen. And the rest of the dial is simple and effective. I actually toyed with the idea of a date just, and I thought it may be a little bit too fussy for me, and I thought this had a cleaner look overall. I may come to regret that. As you know, I do tend to like what I can't have or don't have, although I have been looking at them with a greater interest since then. Outside the linen finishing, you will find the rectangle buttons and the small dial of tritium lume dots at the 3 and the double batons at 6 and 9. In lieu of the 12 marker, you have the famous Rolex crown, and above the hands it simply says Oysterdate printed, and precision underneath those sword hands at 6. Oh, and by the way, did you know that precision is the wording used by Rolex on all its movements that weren't chronometer certified? No, me neither. The last thing to really add to this is that they're drilled lug holes on this watch as well, which means that this case can be swapped out and worn with a ton of straps. And that's exactly what I've been doing since it arrived here. And they all look amazing, just great, every single one of them. It is a proper strap monster. Now, I actually got most of these straps online. So if metal is your thing, have a look on eBay. You will find some regular retails that do OEM style bracelets and solid link Tudor style bracelets as a replacement that you can use. Since they use the same case, it will fit quite nicely, and that is exactly what I've done. I've also bought a solid link OEM bracelet from Rolex as well. Well, not a Rolex one, it is a aftermarket one on eBay, and it's on its way to me now, both of which are going to look good. I am absolutely sure of that. Secondly, I have been shopping around online and found some great leather straps on Amazon and some nylon plus sail cloth straps on Watch Gecko. I've been using all of those as well. They offer amazing value for money, and I think that all the styles of this suit this down to a T. You can dress it up with a nice bracelet and a leather strap. You can dress it down with a nylon and sailcloth and even the more sporty style bracelets as well. So I think really to appreciate this watch, you have to look at this from a couple of different angles. First of all, it is a vintage watch, so it's never going to be an absolute spec monster. Sorry, but that is just the truth. But what it does do is the simple art of telling you the time and doing it well. This model has been running so well since I've had it. I think it may be running between 3 and 5 seconds fast a day, and that's pretty good, all things considered. Secondly, which builds on my first point, is that this is a 53-year-old watch, and it runs better than most blokes I know down the local pub. Honestly, these 1225 movements, like most Rolex movements, are highly regarded for a reason, and the reason is that they are actually good, maybe even bulletproof. But I also think there's a bit of magic with this watch. It's been a little over 20 years my senior, let's say, and it's been a stalwart companion for somebody. It has been on their wrist for weddings, birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, and even more. This watch was built 53 years worth of memories before it came to me, and so I think it'll outlast me, and hopefully it will have another 53 years, even more, of memories that it will start to create. Before we end off today, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to eBay vintage Rolex dealer TikTok Watches. He has a range of genuine vintage Rolexes, Omegas, and much more, all that go through the eBay authenticity program as well. So thank you on that, and I've used that program as well at least half a dozen times, and I would highly recommend that to anyone if they want that peace of mind. I'll also leave a link to his eBay store in the description below. Feel free to check it out and see what he has too. But all I can say for now is I'm going to go away and look after my watch, and I think you should look after yours as well. Take care, watch nerds.